Hello everyone, Shogi Harbour here. Today we're gonna take a look at TT series winners versus Katagami 7 Dan, and this game will be TTJ Season 2 winner Rhyle playing 6-piece handicap. This game was played simultaneously with other handicap games, which means that Katagami sensei was playing 3 games at the same time. 6-piece handicap is a handicap where the handicap giver has no knights, no lances, nor the rook or the bishop, which means, practically speaking, that those squares on the edge will be weaker, but let's see how Rhyle uses this to his advantage. So the handicap giver moves first, and Katagami sensei chose to protect both of those squares, which can be easily attacked by the bishop on the second move, and Rhyle immediately went for the third file rook. The handicap giver will be taking a special care to keep balance between both sides of the board, and let's see what Rhyle does. And Rhyle chooses to castle his king, and this is actually very good. After few moves you can see that he finished the cozy castle. One of the best strategies you can play in handicap games is to think of the handicap game as an even game. Before you attack, make the castle. So Rhyle played the perfect thing so far. We move on few moves. You can see that Katagami sensei takes special care to block this bishop line by pushing the 4-4 pawn. It was only possible after he moved the silver up. And here Rhyle will have time to prepare the attack. He chooses to climb his silver up and attack here. What Katagami sensei doesn't want to do is to allow a silver exchange to happen, because that would benefit Rhyle. So what he does is he keeps both of the generals low. This way, even if Rhyle were to push this pawn and take it, the silver is forced backwards. Instead, what Rhyle does is to attack in the center, and here the battle begins. Katagami sensei retakes the pawn, and Rhyle then pushes 7 for pawn, which is taken. The bishop goes to 5-5. Katagami sensei decides to put a pressure on the opponent's king and make his own king wider, and this is chance for Rhyle to advance his silver to 7-4, which de facto concentrates 3 of his strongest pieces onto 7-3 square, which is currently undefendable. As the Katagami sensei tries to block it, Rhyle, with no fear, exchanges the bishop for the gold and manages to promote the rook. This is very good because Rhyle not only exchanged the bishop for a very strong defensive piece, which is gold, he also managed to promote his rook, and it is very important, especially in handicap game. The only way you can advance the situation is by breaking through to the opponent camp and promoting your piece. So Rhyle managed to achieve that huge objective, but now the question is, will Rhyle be able to capture the Katagami sensei king? Well, let's find out, shall we? Katagami sensei escapes more toward the center of the board, and Rhyle tries to make more friends by creating a token, which Katagami sensei obviously defends. And Rhyle plays an interesting move, pawn 3-6, attacking the king's head directly, and Katagami sensei is forced to go back. Usually the move of attacking from the direction of your castle is not good, but in this case this 3-5 pawn looks like a very strong attack on the king paired with this dragon, so it's hard for me to complain about it. After Katagami sensei defends silver drop here, Rhyle tries to come up with more friends to join the attack, but it gives perfect opportunity for Katagami sensei to counterattack with the bishop fork on the knight and the lance. Actually, in the position few moves before, the silver 3-4 still looked like a very strong move. If the silver would take and the pawn would retake, king retakes, 3-5 pawn, it's similar position to before, but this time with Rhyle's initiative to attack. In this variation, Rhyle would be winning completely. Therefore, Katagami sensei would most likely take it with this silver, and the battle would continue. The silver disappears from the board and perhaps it's easier for Rhyle to attack. But in the actual game, bishop 5-5 happens. Rhyle decides to ignore that attack on his king and jumps with the knight. Katagami-sensei takes the lance and 5-3 pawn promotes, pawn retakes, 5-3 knight promotion. Both sides end up in mutual attack. Although this 5-3 knight looks like a very strong piece attacking in the center, now that Katagami-sensei took the lance drop 3-6 is a very painful stab in the Rhyle's heart. He cannot defend with a pawn drop because that would lead to Nifu, so he decides to run away. This allows Katagami-sensei to eat up one more defensive piece from Rhyle's castle, and slowly the king looks very, very unsafe. The defense continues. Gold retakes 5-3 promoted knight, and here finally Rhyle plays the silver drop to 3-4, silver takes, and before retaking the silver he takes the gold. But the question is it too late or is it enough? Silver retakes 3-5, and gold drop threatens the silver, so Katagami-sensei defends more. 3-2 gold drop, attacking with 3 pieces the silver on 3-3. There is not much that Katagami-sensei can do to continue defending, so he decides to drop 3-6 knight to counter-attack. And here we reach the climax of the game. The usual shogi question appears. Does Rhyle have Atsume or not? The one who will have Atsume will win, and if you make one mistake, it is gonna lead to a loss. Dear viewer, you might wanna look at this position yourself and think of the solution to the problem, the answer to the question. What Rhyle played in the game was to take the silver, king escapes, and to retake the other silver to set up Tsume. But actually, in this position there was a much better move. There was a skillful move, a Tetsuji, that Rhyle should have tried. And that is lance drop to 1-6. That would lead to a forced checkmate. If the king escapes to 2-5, silver drop to 3-4 is mate in 1. As you can notice, the 3-6 knight drop is actually blocking his own king's escape route, so it was perfect opportunity for Rhyle to make a use of it. Now, because Katagami-sensei have only silver in hand, the only piece to drop would be that, and once Rhyle retakes it, double silver drop would also lead to checkmate. So this was a winning variation that Rhyle unfortunately missed. Now it was time for Katagami-sensei to unleash his rage by continuously giving a check. He sacrifices the horse, which Rhyle runs away from. The knight takes the gold, king has to take, and Katagami-sensei drops 4' knight. In fact, Rhyle had one more chance to checkmate the opponent's king if he were to take the horse. If Katagami-sensei decides to go for the Hishi, there is a winning move in this position, and that is to drop the bishop to 3-6. It blocks the king escape and would lead to a checkmate. If the silver were to take the bishop, the king once more 3-6 square is blocked, so the king cannot escape. So different from the previous situation, Rhyle finally noticed the lance drop, but this time 3-6 square is open, so no checkmate is possible anymore. Rhyle tries to make a check with the knight, but knight retakes, king runs away. Checks continue, and all Katagami-sensei has to do is to make a checkmate threat. His own king is pretty safe, so he doesn't have to worry. And Rhyle has no more defense left, so what he's gonna try to do is to attack for the last time. 2-6 silver drop, silver takes, dragon check, king runs away, going for the new Gyoku, entering king position. The dragon makes a check, but finally what decides the game is the reverse check, 5-6 knight drop. Even if the king runs, the horse sacrifice will lead to checkmate, and this is the position where Rhyle resigned. king takes means call drop, king runs means we can use pieces from hand to capture the king easily. It was an amazing battle for both players, but once more Katagami-sensei took the victory. Meantime, Rhyle has been promoted to 5Q, therefore graduating to Tourney to Shodan. We are expecting him to keep on climbing. If you, dear viewer, would like to try your luck in our tournament, remember you can join us through the Discord server. Well, see you at the Harbour. Bye bye.